Well, we're very excited to have you here, Dr. Daniel Pompa. We are here at the Wellness Weekend.
Yeah.
It's such a pleasure to have you. One of the incredible experts that is going to be telling us all the secrets that people need to hear about in order to improve that brain fog, that fatigue, that lack of energy that a lot of people are facing. So you're a very successful doctor with a very incredible story. So we want to just hear a little bit more about who you are for those that don't know much about Dr. Pompa, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, appreciate it. I always love to say my authority doesn't come from my years of schooling. It actually comes from, I believe, the victory God gave me in an unexplainable illness that started in 1999, and you and I were already discussing that. But I was trained as a chiropractor. I specialized in structural correction, and then all of a sudden I got very sick and didn't know what was going on. It started with fatigue. Then it went to weird anxiety. Then it went to weird headaches. Then it went to insomnia, panic attacks, irritability, gut problems, allergic to the planet. I had no idea what happened. And so that set my life in a big change. Fast forward, figured out what it was. I'm making that sound way easier than it was, and we had that conversation. But
a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, there was a lot of failure in there. But I know this for certain. You know, God brought me through all that to teach what I teach today. And I always like to say this too. I'm not smart enough to have learned the information that I learned. The only reason I learned it is because of, what God showed me, honestly. And I say it humbly because I know that to be true. I'm not just saying that. It was a hell of a battle, and I came out the other side.
And I think with the journey that you went through, what we talked about is, it's so sad that you're going through those issues, but Western medicine, for the most part, just disregards it or just tries to throw you on pills to make you feel better, but doesn't get to the core of the issue.
Yeah, Robert, we talked about this. I can't tell you how much money I spent. Robert, you spent
$2 million in the hole of my health problem.
Yeah,
That's insane.
$2 million.
Wild.
That's a crazy number, right? And my number, we remortgaged our home. I didn't have it to spend, honestly, but I didn't care because what I knew was I wasn't going to live my life like this. You know, that was my greatest fear. Wasn't dying. My greatest fear was living my life like it was. But I would go into the best of the best that I could find. Matter of fact, I'd read their books, whatever. I'd travel across the country. Here I am. I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And oftentimes it was with a prescription of a psychotropic drug. Like you're just crazy, and it's like, okay, next, right? I mean, I've had so many of those experiences. I told you the experience I had where I literally spent $5,000 worth of blood work, no insurance. So that was a lot for me. And at that time, I think it would be a lot for anybody, hoping there would be something. And he looked at my blood test, and I'm thinking, if you told me I had cancer, I'd be okay. This is what I can fight.
Crazy how we were saying that same thing. Like, give me a diagnosis,
give me
so
something.
I can crush it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And with this chronic illness, it's unfortunate that you're getting so many different things, and it changes all the time.
Yeah.
So most doctors, when you go there, like I mentioned to you, the doctor's like, well, we'll pull my wife to the side. I think he has like mental health issues.
Yeah.
Here's some SSRIs or something. Let's try to balance it out. It's just, they don't care. They just want to keep you on this sick thing for the rest of your life.
Exactly. He looked at me that day, and his exact words were, "Son, you're healthier than me." That was what he said. And I remember, because it was a pit in my stomach, right? And he insinuated, obviously, that, there was nothing wrong with me. And meanwhile, my life was crumbling, and I had we had 2 young boys at the time. So, that was difficult. And I had a very busy practice at the time, which I would look at my book in the morning and just, pray there was cancellations. I would lay down in between patients because I couldn't even make it through the day. I didn't have enough energy to. Wow. And those were the good days. I just had a lack of energy. It was the anxiety and the bizarre things that were going on that made it worse.
It's very interesting because a lot of people, they're living on a baseline that they think that that's how they're supposed to feel. And then all of a sudden, as they start getting into this journey of becoming healthier, they might get derailed because of the traditional way on how people are being treated. Now, how can they really understand that this baseline is just imaginary, that you're supposed to be up here?
Well, it's a good point. When I started getting sick, it was 1999. Today, the symptoms what you just spoke no energy, can't make it through a day, anxiety, can't sleep, right? Brain fog, depression, people using stimulants, different things. That has become so common that it's now become normal, to your point, to where people just live their lives thinking, and all their friends, they all complain of the same thing, hormone problems. Most of them are on thyroid hormone. Most of them are taking certain things to get through days and, medications. And so now it's just become the normal conversation. I literally was at a friend of mine, his office, he's a dentist, and I was standing in his office and there was a group of 3 girls having this exact conversation, right? They looked healthy relatively. They, looked like normal American girls, and all they were doing is going through their symptoms. And the one finally said it. But I guess it's just normal for our age now. These girls were in their 30s, right? They were young,
how much do you
but
think?
they said that. So it's not normal, to answer your question. No, it's not normal. And none of that is normal.